would like to take this opportunity to tell you that when you are here, we are going to do very many things, and we are going to continue from where we stopped last time. Now, from that point, we are going to begin from where we stopped last time, and that was we handled the towns, the markets, slave markets in Africa. We completed that. Now this time, we want to look at ways slaves were mistreated, or ways slaves were treated. And who were those people who treated or mistreated the slaves? Those were the people who came from outside. More so, the leading group of people were called the Arab traders. And that one has led me to say that it was only the Arab traders who were involved in the slave trade. Very many continents got involved. Even the Europeans were involved in the slave trade. Even Africans, for us Africans ourselves, were also involved. More so, the African kings, African chiefs, and strong African tribes, like the Yao, like the Hehe, like the Nyamwezi, they were also involved in the slave trade. Now, let us look at the ways slaves were treated. We are looking at the ways slaves were mistreated. Now, who are the people who mistreated the slaves? The people who mistreated the slaves were the slave masters or the slave owners, those people who owned the slaves. So when they took Africans from Africa to Europe, they owned them as their own property, whereby they were using them at any time they wanted to use them. Therefore, in that process of using them, the process of using Africans as slaves, the Africans were mistreated in a way that Africans, they were given little food. That's point one. Point one, that was one way they were mistreated, they were given little food. Apart from giving them little food, the Africans who were taken as slaves, they were also forced to carry goods over long distances. That's point two. That was 82, they were forced to carry goods over long distances. Who were the people who were forcing them? Those people who owned them as slaves. Another point was that when the Africans who were taken as slaves, when they fall sick, they were not given proper treatment. And that one is the sad point. They were not given proper treatment. That was the sad point. Another one was that the Africans were also forced to provide labor. They were forced to provide labor. That was another point. They were forced to provide labor, meaning that they were forced to work in the European farms, plantations, in the mines, in their homes as domestic workers. Then the other one, they were also forced to work without payment. They were not given any payment. They were not paid money at the end of the week, at the end of the month, but it was just free. They were offering free service. So they were forced to work without payment. So the Africans, they were forced to work without payment. So these are the ways the Africans were mistreated by the slave owners. And some of those slave owners, they were in Africa, they were outside Africa, they were in Saudi Arabia, where they were taken to work in the plantations. For example, in Africa, there were Africans who were working in the plantations in Zanzibar. They were growing cloves in Zanzibar. Then now want to move to a small subheading that says ways slave trade developed and underdeveloped Africa. Ways slave trade ways slave trade underdeveloped Africa. There were majorly three ways whereby Africa was no longer developing, meaning that when the Africans were taken away from Africa, it reduced the number of people in Africa. Therefore, the number of people in Africa reduced, meaning that there was depopulation in Africa. So the first point we put there was Africa was depopulated. Africa was depopulated, meaning that the number of people reduced in Africa because the majority of energetic men and women were taken away as slaves. That is one way slave trade underdeveloped Africa. Another point is that Africans lost identity. Africans lost identity. Then the third one was that economic activities, meaning that the activities which people in Africa used to do, like agriculture, they were all at a standstill. Those economic activities like agriculture, which energetic men and women were doing in Africa, all were at a standstill, meaning that the people were left in Africa. There were some were left, but the majority of the people were left were people who were weak because they left younger children, they left older people who could not carry out agriculture. Therefore, whatever they could do little because most of the people were taken away as slaves. So we have Africans lost identity. Then economic activities like agriculture were at a standstill. Economic activities like agriculture were at a standstill. So these are some of the ways slave trade underdeveloped Africa. Then now we want to look at how slave trade affected Africa. Now here we are going to look at in 4 ways. We are going to look at how slave trade affected Africa economically. Then 2, we are going to look at social effects, political and cultural effects. Now, under political effects, we are going to have some points, how it affected. And when you talk of economic effects, we mean it affected the ways how people were getting money. Meaning that there were activities people were doing in Africa whereby they were getting money. Those are economic effects. For example, one of the economic effects of slave trade in Africa was that when slave trade was carried out by the outsiders, those people brought some new items, like they brought new crops. When they brought new crops, Africans, like in Zanzibar, they were forced to carry out cultivation of cloves. That was a new crop, meaning that the introduction of new crops was economic effect. Then too, the introduction of some animals, like the Cebu cattle, was also another economic effect. Then we have the Arab traders also introduced a new form of currency which was not in Africa, that was the cowrie shells. That one was also economic because they could use that one in order to get goods in Africa. Then another economic one was that there was labor force reduced in Africa. And when you talk of labor force reducing in Africa, it affected the agricultural sector. It affected the agricultural sector because people were growing crops. So as a result of growing crops, when people were taken away, so it affected the labor force in Africa. So let us have economic effects. Economic effects of slave trade in Africa. One of them, new crops were introduced. New crops were introduced to Zebu cattle were introduced, cowrie shells introduced. Then the other one is forced labor reduced. This one is labor reduced. In Africa. These are the economic effects of slave trade in Africa. New crops like sugarcane were introduced, the cloves, Zebu cattle were introduced, cowrie shells were introduced, labor reduced in Africa. Then we can go to some social effects. Social effects. When you talk of social effects, that one deals with the socialization of people in communities. It affected the ways people were living in the communities. Like, for example, some people who were captured by the Arabs, who resisted them, some of them were killed, and that was a social aspect. Then another social aspect was that families were separated in Africa, meaning that their father, their mother, they were all taken as slaves, leaving children at the home, or leaving all the people at the home, meaning that some people were separated from their families. Then another one was that some people were displaced from their homeland, from their home areas. Then another social one was that property for the Africans was destroyed in a way that areas where Africans could resist the slave traders, once they were resisted in that area, they beat people, some people were killed, they destroyed even the houses, the granaries, they all burned things like granaries. Even the crops were banned by the Arab traders in the areas where they were attacked by the Africans. As one way, Africans were also trying to defend themselves from the slave traders. Let us have this. Social effects. One, increased death of people in Africa. That's one. Two. They were displaced. People were displaced in Africa. The other one we can have property. Property of Africans was destroyed. Then we have another social one. families were separated in Africa. Then we got to what we call political effects. Political effects of slave trade in Africa. When we talk of political effects, we mean that these were the ways Africans were governed. They governed themselves. And one of the ways Africans governed themselves, it was in such a way that Africans had their own kings, Africans had their own chiefs, Africans had the clan leaders who were acting as heads in their areas of operation. That's why you find out that when the Arab traders came to Africa, they came up to Uganda. When they reached Uganda, they went up to Uganda Kingdom, meaning that before they are coming, Africans had their own system of government. That's why it is wrong to say that before the coming of the foreigners, there was no government in Africa. Africans had their own ways of ruling their own people, because Africans had their own kings, they had their own chiefs, they had their clan leaders. Meaning that Africans had the administration before the coming of the outsiders. Therefore, we are looking at the political effects. Looking at the political effects, one of them is African rulers got guns for protection, which were brought by the outsiders. The other one, strong kingdoms attacked weaker kingdoms. Strong kingdoms attacked weak kingdoms. As I summarize, intertribal wars increased in Africa. That's our question 1. 2, So as for now, I think you can handle those two numbers. One is mention NFO effects of slave trade in Africa, then to give NFO economic effects of slave trade in Africa. These numbers are here for today. I think we can end here. The only caution I'm giving you is that please try to go through that work. I wish you success. May God bless you, class.